When the board decided to collect these images back in the early 1990s, they realized how well the public used them and appreciated them. We have a lot of school children who come to these exhibitions and teachers that bring their classes every year. So of course that's different groups of children who come and see the works of art every year. Quite often they'll do preparation in the classroom before they get here, so the kids already know the main characters, they already know what's happening, they know that they're going to see a headless horseman and so on. And so they are excited about seeing this exhibit. Once the board saw how popular this exhibition was, they made the decision to start collecting children's book illustration because we felt that it fit with who we are and also with an important part of our collection. So since that time, we have been collecting works of art that are children's book illustration. We've worked with the University of Northern Iowa as well. We've had several exhibitions of students' work from illustration classes. There are many great instructors up at the art department. One of them is Roy Behrens, and he teaches illustration classes. And he almost always has his students create an illustration of some sort related to either the poetry of James Hearst or a re-interpretation of a work of art that Gary Kelley might have done. Those individual students have had a wonderful exemplar, several wonderful exemplars of people in the community who are actually making their living creating works of art. And not only just making their living, but also developing a national and international following. So they really see in Gary Kelley and several of the other artists in town examples of who they could be. They have an exemplar of what is possible, and who better than Gary Kelley and his support for and his love of this community. He has made a big impact on the quality of the works of art that we collect. One question that people ask is, well, how come illustration? They tend to think of illustration as more of a craft or more of a public commercial kind of endeavor. And I think that yes, there is a commercial aspect to most illustration. It is usually produced to illustrate the written word. It's usually created to illustrate and sell a product, that kind of thing. But I do believe, and I know from my experience, that illustration, particularly children's book illustration, can also be created as a work of art that happens to illustrate a story. And in this case, and in the works of art that we are collecting that are children's book illustrations, that is the case. These are works of art that also happen to illustrate a piece of literature and have an appeal and a verve and a beauty that appeals to audiences of all ages. And we as a group, the board and I as a group, really try to do the best for this community that we think we can do, and that we'll continue to serve the community in the future. And our choice at this point in time is to create works of art or collect works of art that perhaps do illustrate the written word. We do have a relationship here at the Hearst Center which is very unique, and that is that one of the major donors, James Hearst, was a poet. And so over the years we have tried to work with exhibitions and work with works of art that actually do illustrate the written word. There is an apex where those two come together, which is an interesting, thought-provoking thing. And it's unique in the fact that, yes, the works of art illustrate the poetry, and actually Da Vinci had a wonderful quote about that, and he said that painting is visual poetry, and poetry is literary painting. So I believe that there is a connection there that people have identified and seen for years, and it is a unique and special opportunity for us to explore.